Good morning and welcome. Welcome to our reflection for today, Monday the 23rd of August. I'm Reverend Karen Lamouton of the Preston Ribble Circuit. My first car was a 1963 Morris Minor, which I bought for £50 when I was 17 with the money that I earned from a summer holiday job. Fortunately, my mum could afford the insurance for the car. My mum taught me to drive in it so that I could go out and journey on my own. However, as it was the only car I'd ever driven, I had 4 lessons with an instructor so I could get used to driving his car for the test, which thankfully I passed the first time. Some of you may remember the days of a manual choke to start your car of a morning and the dramas if you flooded the engine by using too much choke. Everything was manual. You had to turn on the wipers, open the windows, turn on the lights and dim them with your foot by pressing a button on the floor next to the clutch. If you forgot to turn them off, you would come to a dead battery. This car taught me to drive and then let me take journeys independently. However, the car's manual, the instruction book, was always with me, giving me guidance from the manufacturer of how to use it correctly and what to do if things went wrong. Then I went off to college in the UK, a complete change of context, but my car didn't go with me. Although it was suitable for the roads in Jersey where the speed limit was 40 miles an hour, it would not stand up to the motorways in the UK. So as I travelled to Bedford, I got used to public transport, while my mum enjoyed having a car to use at home. My second car in the mid-1970s was an Austin Allegro, which I really don't remember much about because I only had it for 9 months, other than the acronym that I made up with the letters of the registration number to help me remember it. SAHM, Smiling and Happy Me. It used to get me the 22 miles backwards and forwards from Norwich to my teaching job. It served its purpose for that period of my life. And yes, there was still the manufacturer's handbook to refer to. Then my context changed dramatically when I was appointed as the Girls Brigade training officer for the Cayman Islands and also taught in a primary school full-time. This time, as I would be essentially journeying around Great Grand Cayman, 72 square miles in lovely Caribbean weather, I thought I could manage with a moped. However, it only lasted a few weeks as I completely misjudged the context. I didn't understand it. I'd not found out about tropical storms, nor the rainy season, nor the fact that there were no street lights and huge swathes of uninhabited mangrove swamps between settlements. Not a good place to break down, as I speak from experience. After speaking with the locals and taking their advice about what kind of vehicle I would need to serve the purpose of journeying in this context, I bought a Honda Civic, which got me and my belongings everywhere, dry and relaxed, as it was reliable. Again, my instruction manual always went with me in the car. After all, what do I know about keeping cars running effectively and efficiently? But the manufacturer does. After my 4-year tour abroad, I returned to Jersey and back to a familiar context. But the cars moved on apace. I found a nice Fiat Panda suitable for a single woman who was only working 3 miles from her home. It served its purpose well and could transport my mum and I wherever we needed to go, as well as taking my friends out socially. Then my personal context changed. I got married and inherited an angel of a mother-in-law, but who didn't drive, as well as a husband, so we needed to change our car. After finding out about different cars and how they worked and what add-ons could be bought as extras to the basic model, we got a Citroën C5. It comfortably fitted both our mums in, as well as was big enough to take us all on holiday, plus our suitcases. Also, the fuel had changed and diesel was being promoted as best for the environment, and you got twice as far with diesel than petrol, so it seemed a good deal at the time. Over many years, we kept with our trusted make, but varied the models. Each time, something in the car had changed, appealing to us as buyers, which made it easier to drive. I mean, power steering was absolutely wonderful. It wasn't like driving a tank. Not that I knew I thought I was driving a tank. It served us well as we journeyed all over the place, not just in the UK, but also abroad. My context changed again, but this time through events which affected me personally. And I went out in a whole new direction, buying an MX-5, a small two-seater car. Having devoured the handbook, I was ready for a complete new adventure and experience, and I loved every minute of the 10 years that I had it. There was a sense of freedom, letting the car do what it was meant to do. However, time moves on, and so did we. Our context changed again. We moved to a whole new island with no cars allowed. We discovered new ways of journeying, cycling, walking, and the occasional horse and carriage ride, all without the upkeep and maintenance needed to keep a car. We did discover, however, a great need of buying wellies and the strongest waterproofs you could get. After 9 years, we were back to researching cars for our new context. Things had moved on significantly. Now you could sit with a representative of the manufacturer and design your own car to meet your specific requirement. From a basic shell, everything could be personalized to meet the context you were going to be journeying in. Now everything seemed to be electronic and automatic. Your car opened without inserting a key. You pressed a button to start the car. Windows opened and closed automatically. It sensed when rain was coming. Lights came on and dipped when required. Having an internal phone which connects with your phone. Cruise control for the motorways. Security alarms and an SOS alert if you got into an accident. Sat-nav, sensors and cameras that allow you to see behind you, to park. Music systems that allow you to play your own music or even watch the TV. Not while you're driving, I hasten to add, your passengers can. The list goes on, even to having an electric car or a hybrid car which can use fuel or electricity to power it. All these options, but we didn't need them all. Some wouldn't be appropriate for our use nor the context we were going to be in. So we purchased the car that we hoped will see us through while we're in this current context. The car's purpose is essentially the same, for making a journey. But accessing the manufacturer's handbook is now so accessible in so many different ways. Through our journey with cars, we've learnt that the manufacturer is continually creating for the future, changing their models for differing context, but still with the same purpose, to journey. The manufacturer's advice is always there, waiting to be used in whatever form we find most accessible. So, what are our options for the future? Well, firstly, we could maintain an original car that we bought, or we could go out and find an original car and either store it to look at or sit in, carefully preserve it, perhaps bring it out for special occasions. It may still be capable of making a short, simple journey and get admiring looks at its bodywork, but it's no longer fit for its original purpose, to journey in this context. We could, secondly, get a second-hand car or upgrade our car with some new features, perhaps introduce some technology in the car, and it will keep us going for a while longer. Would others be interested in this car in the future? Who knows? It depends on how it journeys and how relevant it is for the context. Thirdly, we could research and look at other cars and see what they're doing with their specifications. We could also consider our context and where we want to journey. Is what we're looking at getting or doing things that are suitable to meet those needs now? Finally, there is the option, of course, of working in partnership with the manufacturer to design a car specifically for your context and purpose, along with a complete instruction manual. Having listened and journeyed with me to the life and times of my cars, you may well wonder, well, what has this to do with church or my personal faith? Or perhaps you're already unpicking the parable. Well, it has everything to do with both. Yes, our context can be different, and we as individuals change over time, and that happens frequently. But our Creator is continually creating and remains active. God has given us a basic instruction book, the Bible. Contexts change, but the basic principles remain the same. We need to work in partnership with God as we journey through life individually and corporately as Christ's church, so we are fit for purpose and our context. We need to be a praying church that listens to God, and we need to listen to each other. Preston Ribble Circuit is engaged in a listening campaign called Hopes and Dreams. We're listening to your hopes and dreams for the future of the church in this circuit. Do make sure that your voice is heard through whatever means you feel comfortable with. May God bless you today and always. Have a hope-fueled day as you journey through life today. God bless. Bye.